So I started doing some very bizarre sketches. I had candlemen, I had a gypsy wagon that came to life, I had man-eating plants, I developed a seance room, and I was doing all these sketches, and everybody that was working at WED at that time came out and they said, "You're not going to show those to Walt, are you?" And I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "I'm just having some fun, you know." And one of the fellows said, "Rolly, do you mind if I sculpt some of those in a model form, in maquettes?" And I said, "Yeah." So, I mean, we had that freedom just to kind of do whatever we want. Well, finally, Dick Irvine put everybody else onto the Haunted Mansion, and we were going to have a meeting with Walt on the Haunted Mansion. But nobody really thought my stuff was too weird. So what happened was when Walt came in, he came in the doorway, the table was here and the three walls with all their other guys' artwork on it, and they stuck me over in the corner with the sculpting and the sketches and stuff. And so Walt sat down, and we had about a 3-hour meeting with him on the Haunted Mansion, and finally he said, "Is that it?" And Dick Irvine didn't introduce me to talk to him about what I was doing, and they said, "Yeah, that's it." And he says, "What's this stuff in the corner?" I mean, that just shows you his peripheral vision. And they said, "That's something that Rolly did." And he said, "Well, what is it?" And they said, "Why don't you ask Rolly, because we don't know." And so he and I rolled our chairs over together and looked at it, and he said, "What is this?" And I told him the story about the films, and I felt that we should do something very different in the Haunted Mansion. And I said, "These could be part of the architecture." And he says, "Yeah, but how would you do it?" And I said, I don't know." And so we got into this little session of, "Are you sure, Rolly?" And, "Well, I don't know." And it was kind of cute because everybody's sitting back there kind of smiling. And finally Walt said, "I don't know, this stuff is really weird." And he got up and he left. Well, everybody said, "Rolly, we told you that the old man wouldn't necessarily buy that." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but I had a good time." I came to work the next morning, and Walt sitting in my chair at 7:30 in the morning, still wearing the same clothes he had on. And I walked in, I said, "Oh, hi, Walt." And he says, "Rolly," he says, "I just want you to know I didn't get an ounce of sleep last night because of what you showed me." And I said, "Really?" And he says, "Yeah, but I know how to use that." And I said, "You do?" And he said, "Yes." He says, "When we exit from the Haunted Mansion, we're going to build a museum of the weird where people can go through this museum and they can look at all the illusions and the crazy stuff that you've designed, and they can spend hours there, and we can do that." And so I said, "Okay." I said, "That sounds great." So he told Dick Irvine to bring the rest of the art directors and designers in, and he took it through them. And he said, "This is what we're going to do." So it was Walt's idea to do this Museum of the Weird. And when he got finished, he said, "Now I'm going to go home and go to bed." And that just shows you how he figured a way. He liked it. He didn't know whether he liked it or didn't like it, but he had to think about it, which he did. And then he had to come tell me. And then, of course, when he left, they all said, "You know, Rolly, we always thought that was a good idea." I thought, yeah.